Hello everyone, Osman here, back with another video and my review for Venom, Let There Be Carnage. I just got out of watching the movie, I think like an hour ago. I'm just going to give you my thoughts about the movie, obviously. I liked the movie, but I thought it was really goofy. There'd be times in the movie where I'd be watching it and it was just like really the thing that made it so goofy was like the kind of stuff that Venom himself would be doing. So, like, he would just be quipping, like, so much, making a bunch of jokes for no reason, stuff, like, just making a bunch of comments, stuff like that whenever, like, bad stuff happened to Eddie Brock. That was really what made it goofy. Sometimes even Eddie himself kind of had succumbed to that as well. Like, he would just be like that the whole time. And some of the other characters would even give into that as well. So, it was just really strange. And then there was, like, a scene or something in a nightclub where I think where Venom was there, and but mainly like other characters sort of would succumb to the whole thing where like they would just be goofy and they would just be like making quips or jokes and just doing weird stuff or something like that. But it was mainly Venom. Venom was the main weirdo. I mean, I know and heard in the comics, like, he is kind of like a goofy character, but I don't know if they go that deep with that, like, in the comics as much, but in this movie in particular, they go crazy deep with the goofy thing, like, go with that style, like, a lot, and I'm like, that's a little too much. I mean, it could just be, sometimes, okay, I'll say sometimes it kind of worked in a little bit at times, like, it was just like, okay, he was goofy, I think that kind of works, and I laughed a couple times, like, and I thought it kind of worked, but then sometimes I'd be like, it's a little too much. I mean, it's just like, because I think when I was watching the movie, I literally was just saying, I was like, oh my gosh, this movie is so ridiculous. It's so goofy. Just that whole thing. Goofy is literally the thing I would describe it as. And everybody's been saying that about this movie. Some people can either like take that as like, oh my gosh, that is the best thing ever. That's what this film needs. Or they're like, no, this movie's just, it needs to be dark or serious. I think it would work if it was a little bit darker. Not like too dark that it's like, oh my gosh, that's just, nothing about it is like fun or anything like that, but just like a tad bit serious for the Venom character. Besides the goofy nature of the film, which I just described, I'll talk about the things that I liked. I liked the action. Carnage, they just made him like super brutal, and I thought the scenes with that were awesome. The CG was actually really good the way that they did it. I guess even sometimes like when you look at CG, like, I mean, obviously, like, I'm numb to it because I watch a lot of these films anyways where they just go really in depth with the CGI, and they're like, let's just throw everything there, and the CGI worked. And yeah, the design for Carnage was really cool. It was insane, but they really nailed that, in my opinion, like the way that they did with Carnage. Cletus Cassidy, who basically is like, kind of the host or something, I think. Cletus Cassidy, like the way that they dealt with that, he's played by Woody Harrelson. He played the character pretty well. He played him well enough that, yeah, he was a little sinister. He was kind of a little bit, unpredictable. I heard from, some people would probably think, his origin story is not really fleshed out. There's a scene in the movie where they explain his origin story, but it's like more of a visual type of medium, which is like, obviously what you could say is flashbacks could say visual medium, but no, I'm talking about a different visual medium. They use like, graphics and stuff like that. So, and I thought that was a pretty cool use of that way of like telling the origin story. And I'm glad that he didn't go too over the top. The side characters were cool. I mean, they brought back Eddie's girlfriend. Was it Anne Wang or something, played by Michelle Williams? I mean, she was also kind of part of that in the first movie where she helped out Eddie whenever he was like in any tough situations. She's not with him anymore. She's with another person, like with another guy. She still cared about Eddie enough to be like, you know what? You are still someone I care about either way. She played a good part in the movie. She was there enough, and I think that she was used properly in the film, and I like that. And, it was just like very good performance from her. Shriek was in the movie as well. Shriek is like another character played by, was it Naomi Harris? She was also in the film. Shriek was good. I liked her in the film. I mean, sometimes I did think she was a little too crazy. Like, her and Cassidy were made for each other. But, the actress, she did a great job playing that role. She really, like, inhabited it. And then there's another character called Patrick Mulligan, who is played by, I think, Steven something. I forgot his name, but Steven something. He was also good in the movie. He actually, a lot of people, would think that, yeah, he was just like a traditional cop because he plays a cop in the film, but yeah, he does have a significant sort of part to play in the movie, and I think they probably will use him again in the future if they ever get the chance. I'm not going to explain what happened to him at the end of the movie. You're going to have to see for yourself, but I think they'll probably use him again, like, later on. I'm not really a guy who's like, oh my gosh, dialogue, the dialogue was bad, the dialogue, I guess I could say, was fine. Like, I can't really find a specific type of dialogue in my mind that'd be like, oh my gosh, that was bad, that was good, that was great. I can't really decide on that. It's just really, like, up to you, I guess, as a viewer yourself, like, to decide, I guess. I mean, I'm a viewer as well, but like for me personally, I don't know. Maybe you'll have a different opinion on regards to that. I guess the score was good. I didn't really notice the score as much compared to like something like Shang-Chi, but the score was cool, I guess. Like, you know, it was very like chaotic. I think the relationship between Eddie and Venom was, I think, like a lot of people said, the strongest part of the movie. Granted, I did mention that Venom was the goofy part of this film. He just made a lot of quips, or, quipped a lot, just said a lot of goofy, weird things, and just was just like, "Hello, I'm Venom. You shouldn't do this. What are you doing?" Whatever. Their relationship, both Eddie's and Venom's relationship, worked in regards to that. I think they did a good job. Their interactions between one another were cool, and it was like sometimes I found it to be funny, and then sometimes, yeah, goofy. I liked it. I didn't think the movie was the greatest. I actually, for the first Venom movie, the first Venom movie, I liked that film, but I didn't love it. I just thought it was good. I thought it was forgettable as well. It was just like, oh, you can forget about that in 2 seconds. It's nothing. Not super memorable like some of the other Marvel movies they made. Even even Marvel movies like MCU movies, they can be forgettable at times. I thought Venom Let There Be Carnage, I think, might have been. I can't really decide like the ranking in terms of like, oh, do I like Venom Let There Be Carnage more, or do I like it less than the first one? I think they're probably, for me, like neck and neck, like they're both on the same sort of like level, and so that's what I would say about that. And a lot of people are saying, yeah, well, if you loved the first movie, then you'll love the second one probably. If you hated it, you'll probably hate this one too. For me, I liked it. That's what I think about that. If I had to give it a score, I don't know, I probably would give it like a 6.5 out of 10. I think that's what I think about Venom Let There Be Carnage. Feel free to leave something in the comments about like, oh, how do you feel about my review? Did you watch the movie yet? Did you like it? Did you hate it? Did you love it? Any of that kind of stuff. Just let me know what you think about the movie overall or something, or if you're excited to see this movie. As always, like, subscribe, comment, all that fun stuff, and I'll see you next time.